right, everybody, and welcome to the Touch of Gaming podcast. This is episode number 116. As always, I'm your host, Lloyd Hannison, and joining me, Jared Schultz. Timing's better there. I'm getting it.
Hey, you're getting back on it. Good work.
How you doing, man?
Doing great. How are you doing, Lloyd?
I'm doing good. We took a week off, kind of unplanned. Unfortunately, had some things pop up in my life where some family member issues, so we had to cancel a show, but everything's fine now, and now I'm back in the crazy time. I think last September I said that we weren't going to do any shows in September because it was just so crazy at work, and here we are, first full week of school, and I'm doing episodes of my shows today and tomorrow, so I don't learn.
You're being dedicated this year.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Dedication. That's what it is. It's not craziness. It's dedication.
Yeah, it's been really crazy at work for me too, but
that's good. Crazy work means you keep getting employed and paid, so that's always a good thing.
That's extremely true.
Yep. So, how you been? We haven't talked in a couple weeks, so what's new?
Just playing quite a bit, and are you asking me to go to the announcement? No,
Nope.
Just in general.
Yeah.
I just nothing real. Busy at work and playing lots of games and having fun.
That's good. That's what I like to
What
hear.
about you?
I've been playing a lot actually, but mostly on my consoles. I haven't been playing so much on the iOS, other than the few games that I've just been addicted to, and that's because Ratchet and Clank Collection came out. And I'm a huge Ratchet and Clank fan, and I own all the Ratchet and Clank games, but yet I jumped at the chance on release day to buy the $30 collection that has 1, 2, and 3 up-res to 1080p and available on PlayStation 3, or I guess it's 720p. So I've been playing a lot of that. I know you picked it up too, haven't you? Or didn't you?
Haven't played it.
haven't even had a chance, eh?
Yeah, I
so
bought
good.
it as well. I've been playing a few other consoles as well, playing some console, playing some PC. So
Nice.
yeah, it's been good. I've been able to actually have time to do some of that stuff. So
Yeah, cool. Well, that's awesome. So you had an announcement that you wanted to mention?
yeah, so I don't know. Have you ever heard of Extra Life?
I have. They're a comic online. They're also a celebration of gaming that people use to raise money for different charities.
Yeah, so Extra Life, it's also a band, but besides that, Extra Life, if you go to extra-life.org, it's a video game marathon that happens every year, and this year it's on October 20th. I'm announcing it a little bit earlier because it seems like we have quite a few people that go and just download a month's worth of podcasts at a time, so I figure I have to get it in early, so otherwise they'll hear about it. And I'm participating in it again this year. This will be my second year. They raise money for the Children's Miracle Network hospitals. And so I actually play for one that I have two nieces that are treated at it, and they would never be able to afford the care that they receive. But, they have kind of congenital diseases and stuff. So I'll be playing for Primary Children's Hospital, one of the Children's Miracle Network's hospitals. And so I just want to encourage you guys to, look at it. If it's something that you're able to do and wanting to do, come join us, come join me. We'll probably be putting together a team and just playing together and having a lot of fun for 24 hours and trying to raise some money for charity. So, either participate by sponsoring someone or by joining a team, and plus it's an excuse to have 24 hours of gaming, which is never a bad thing.
Darn, that would be such a terrible thing to do, play games for a whole 24 hours.
Yeah, so that's coming up. It's October 20th, so yeah, go check it out. I also posted something about it in the forum, so if you want to see my page or anything like that, it's in our forum at vgpodcast.com/forums.
Awesome. Good stuff. Yeah, I really love this. I know Jeff, who's my host for the bonus stage, did a 24-hour gaming marathon last year. We've got to talk about maybe doing one this year. That would be really cool. Stream it on VG Podcasts, our live page, and do all that type of fun stuff. That would be really cool. So I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, it's actually harder than it sounds.
Oh yeah. Doing anything for 24 hours would be impossible.
You get to the end of it, and you're just like, I don't want to play anymore.
I need to go sleep for a week.
And it's always funny because, different people cope in different ways. I remember my brother who got me into it, by the end, he was telling me how he was just playing brainless games that you could shoot things. And I was like, no, I have to play a game where I'm thinking or else I'm falling asleep. So,
You need to have,
everyone coping strategies.
oh, exactly. You need to have more people in the room with you than just you, or you'll fall asleep. You need to have other people that can punch you in the arm when you try to start drifting off or whatever.
Well, and that was what was cool last year. We made a team, so we had like a forum going on talking about, hey, anyone want to hop on this game with me? And it was fun. So
That's cool. That's awesome.
we'll do it again. And if you want to join us, come check it out.
Yeah,
So,
please do. Please do, guys. That would be really cool. All right, moving
so
on.
what do you
Oh,
what have
sorry.
you been playing, Lloyd?
I've been what? You don't ask that question. I asked that question. What's wrong with you? Just kidding.
I wanted to beat you to the punch.
Yeah, you did. You're way ahead of me today, which isn't too difficult because I'm on all sorts of medicine for my sore throat, so I could actually do a show today. So I'm a little bit dopey, which is I guess kind of normal for me, so it's not too bad. But what I've been playing, I picked up a game today called Hexagon, which is this little 99-cent app that is it's by the creator of VVVVVVVVV, that game that came out on Steam and all sorts of other things. And basically it's an old school arcade game where basically in the center of a screen is a hexagon and you're this little tiny ship, a little triangle. And the only controls you have is you touch the left-hand side of the screen to rotate left. You hit the down just a touch, or up just a touch more if you could, Jared. Perfect. And you touch the other side of the screen to rotate right. And basically what happens is you're a hexagon and there's little, I guess, bands of light coming from every face of the hexagon. And there'll be walls that are coming towards you. So you have to rotate outside of the walls so you can be in a free place so that you don't get hit. But the game is incredibly insane. The longest that I've been able to stay alive for is 19.54 seconds. And that's nothing. I know some of the things that I've seen online, people are alive for about a minute, but the game gets faster and faster. And what happens is once you start rotating around, the hexagon starts rotating, and then after you get past like 15 seconds, it starts like skewing in and out, and it just gets so crazy. It has like chiptune music, and it's fast and furious. And the easiest difficulty mode is called hard. And the next one up is called harder, and then there's the hardest, I think. And yeah, I don't even want to try the other ones. Like I can't get past 20 I can't even get to 20 seconds, which is when you get to level 2. So really insane. It's one of those games you can pick up and play, get really frustrated at, and put away, and then come back to it. So I haven't played it too much. I just picked it up today, but I'm really enjoying it. So maybe I'll have more to say about that one in the next episode. I've also been playing Puzzlecraft. After my save game got erased in the last show, I had announced that, or I had mentioned on the show that they're coming out with a patch that would apparently fix that. Unfortunately, the patch didn't fix anything. It just patched the game so it wouldn't happen anymore. So my save game was still lost, which was kind of sad. But as an apology in this patch, they were going to give you 5,000 gold. So previously to this happening, I had deleted my game and started again because I knew that I wasn't going to get my save game back because they had announced it a few days before the patch kit went live. So I had played the game and got to like level 16, got most of my city built. And then the patch came out. I'm like, good, I'll get 5,000 gold. I can maybe rebuild some of my stuff really fast. It's going to be great. Unfortunately, the patch wouldn't allow me to get into my game. So I would start up the game and it would immediately crash. And then I'd restart the app and I'd tap to get into my city and it would crash, and I restarted my iPad and all this stuff, and it crashed and crashed and crashed, and I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. I just started a second time. So I deleted the game, reinstalled it, and went back in because it's like, okay, 5,000 gold, I'll get a quick start, it's gonna be easy. For some reason the gold didn't come. So it was like one thing after another. Finally, after giving up for a day or two and going back into it, I got my gold. I was able to start again. I'm not even like level 12 yet, or no, actually I'm almost level 17 is where I am. So I'm still enjoying it, which is like really insane after all the bad luck that I've had with the game, and I still love it, and I still highly recommend it to anybody that has an iPad, so or an iPhone. It's just one of those games that is just so addictive. So anyway,
I actually recommended that my mom pick up this game.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of had a similar experience with it crashing and having to actually delete the app and reinstall it, but I recommended my mom pick it up, and she loved it so much that yesterday she was like, Jared, what level are you on? I was like, well, I was at level 25 before my game got deleted, and I'm just working on it. And then she's like, oh, I'm at level 29.
You're being schooled by your mother.
Yes.
That's
So, and
awesome.
then she was also went and found their Facebook page and decided to start talking to them on their Facebook page. And she was so impressed that they responded back to her post on their Facebook page within an hour.
That's cool.
So, yeah. Apparently, they're also extremely responsive and working on a lot of different things. So,
Yeah.
we'll see what the new expansion is because apparently they've had so much success with it that they are able to do extra stuff, which is great.
That's awesome. I hope they do really well, and I hope they come out with some really great things for this game because yeah, it's so much fun, and I really can't wait to see what else they have in store for us. I've also been playing a couple games that I'm going to be reviewing today, Bastion and Mikey Shorts. I'll get into those later in the episode. But I also picked up last night, since it was release night, a game called VS Racing 2. So it's the sequel to VS Racing. It's a top-down racer. So you drive around these little cars. It's designed in such a way that it looks kind of like tilt shift photography. So it's like it looks like you're driving like little toys, but they look like hyper realistic. The worlds look kind of realistic, although they kind of look like kind of pixelated and drawn in some areas. I really enjoyed the first one. I had to pick up the second one. It's only $1, and I'm loving it. There's something like there's 2 worlds of 18 levels and 3 cars that you can unlock. You get gold so you can upgrade them and things like that. The developers are promising other worlds to come. And hidden in a bunch of the different levels are these little gold bricks. And if you drive over them, they actually unlock levels in a hidden world. And in the hidden world, you're not just driving around a track. There's like weapon pickups and things. So you can drop oil and turbo and things like that. So they are changing things up a bit. It does have a multiplayer. I haven't played any of the multiplayer stuff, but I'm really enjoying the single player stuff. So I'm going to try my best to get all the stars and beat it, and maybe talk about it in maybe an iOS Pulse or something. Really fun game if you're into like top down driving games, kind of like old school RC Pro Am. You might want to check this one out. And that's about it. So Jared, what have you been playing?
So first of all, I just took off. I've been playing a lot, just a pile of games. So I took off the ones I haven't played quite as much and the ones I'll be reviewing. So first, there's The Curse, and The Curse is by the makers that made that tongue-tied game where you're the dogs running along that have their tongues tied together.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is completely different. You're basically you unlock this book of evil that has a bad guy in it, the mannequin. And the way that you put the mannequin back away and seal him back away is by solving 100 puzzles. And these puzzles are kind of like Professor Layton type puzzles. There's a good variety of different types of puzzles. The one strange thing about it to me, though, is in order to beat the mannequin, you have to get through all the puzzles. And if you get stuck on a puzzle, there is a hint system. However, you have to pay for hints. Not sure how I feel about that because it's like, I don't know. There's no way that I can get free hints no matter how well I do or anything like that. And I don't know. It just feels a little bit strange if I want to play through the game. And if the hint system is built in, it feels a little strange to have to pay for those. Yeah. So I don't know how I feel about that, but the puzzles are good, and for 99 cents, you do get a pretty good value because there's a lot of different types of puzzles. I have gotten stuck on 4 or 5 of them. Granted, I'm not the smartest person ever, but they get really tricky, and I just haven't. I don't know. I feel kind of bad or dirty by buying my hints. Does that? I don't know.
Yeah, that seems really weird, actually. I mean, in Professor Layton, you could tap around and eventually you'll find the little coins to get hints. But I don't know, paying real money to be reminded about how stupid I am, I just that seems like a double slap in the face to me.
See, I think that's where I'm at. But it does have a funny little thing, and as you solve like 30 puzzles, and every 10 puzzles you solve, the mannequin will come talk to you and taunt you, and they've really been trying to interact with players in different forums and stuff, and leaving extra riddles and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't feel good about paying for hints, so I might never beat this game because of that.
Yeah.
So Next, I've been playing this game called Flight. And did you ever play like Fly Kiwi Fly or those ones where you're trying to fly as far as you can?
I've played a few games like that. Yeah.
So this is one of those, and for some reason, I always really like these ones. So this one, you're a paper airplane, and you're trying to you start off by throwing your airplane and getting as far as you can, and of course later on you attack rocket ships to the back of your paper airplane. That because that's what you do. You add rockets to paper airplanes.
Paper doesn't burn when you have rockets attached to it. That's
not at all.
That'll never happen.
So you get to fly through different environments, and you're constantly trying to go further than you have previously, and faster and further and higher, and you get lots of extra upgrades, and you can hit little windmills that will give you speed. So it's a fun game like that, and if you kind of like those types of games, this is actually a well done one, and I think it's 99 cents, so it's a good one. Then I've been playing They Need to Be Fed. So this one's actually a little bit older game, and I guess I kind of missed it. It has like really minimalist graphics, like just little bits of color, and then really cute little monster guys. And your goal is that you're playing these other cute little guys that you then go and jump into the monster guys' mouths.
I had actually had to Google that one because it sounded so familiar. And yeah, I played that one when it came out like a while ago. It must have been 6 months ago or something. It was actually really, really fun.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Seuss's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you have like the round worlds, but they do a really good job at continuously bringing in new elements. Like, all of a sudden there'll be blocks that spin only when you're on them, and then there'll be blocks that stop spinning when you jump on them, and then. Right. They'll all of a sudden add cannons that fire after homing missiles after you guys. Do a really good job. So it's well polished, and if you've never picked this one up, it might be worth it, because I know it was one of those ones that apparently I missed. Actually, what happened is I put it on my watch list in App Shopper, and all of a sudden it dropped to 99 cents, and I'm like, oh, I completely forgot I put this on my watch list, and decided to pick it up.
Nice.
So I've been playing Hambo. So just real quick, Hambo is by Miniclip. They're the ones that did like Fragger. And this one feels a lot like Fragger, except that you are a pig that has big guns like Rambo, hence Hambo, And then I've been playing One Epic Night. It is a Temple Run clone, except maybe the only difference in this one is that your little guy... It's by the makers of, it's by Simultronics, who are the ones that made Geodefense, as well as what was that game? It was a tower defense game, Tiny Heroes, and it's fun. I mean, it's a Temple Run clone, so it's not a bad one. And the thing that they add in is you have little swords that sometimes you can get through, and shields for your little guy. I don't know. I've never really gotten into Temple Run in the first place, so not really getting into this one either. And then Super Magical. Super Magical. I mean, that's a great name, right? You'd expect a lot out of it.
Yeah.
What is that game? It's one where you like have to shoot and then make matches of 3 or more.
I can't think of it. I don't know which one you're talking about. Sorry. Can't help you here.
Yeah, so it's a really popular genre, and it's been around. Bust-a-Move.
Oh, okay. Were you shooting the bubbles? Oh yeah, okay.
Yes. There we go. I got it. Bust-a-Move. So it's like Bust-a-Move, and it's okay. I mean, you got little powers going on, and you're fighting your 7 evil sisters, and trying to free these good wizards, and it was getting some really good press, and I mean, for me, it's just another Bust-a-Move clone, and so if you want to play Bust-a-Move clone, it's a pretty good one. So cool. Yeah, I've been playing like I said, a complete pile of games.
You've been playing them all. Every game ever made, you've been playing it.
Sadly, no.
Awesome. Well, that's good to hear that you've been playing lots of games. Let's get into some news about some other games that have come out. It's been a super packed release week. You know how we said a few episodes ago that we weren't going to buy as many games and get to beating the games that we bought a long time ago? Well, if weeks like this happen, that's never going to happen, Jared. I'm never going to not buy games in a week.
So true.
It's terrible. But anyway, let's get to the updates. There's been a couple really good updates yesterday and today. Today, Field Runners got an update just out of the blue. This is the original Field Runners, not Field Runners 2, which just came out. And this adds HD graphics. So if you were having problems playing on your Retina iPhone, they made it nice and pretty. So it looks good and plays good, and it's on sale for $1. So if you haven't checked out Field Runners yet, you haven't picked up Field Runners 2 and never played the original, I highly recommend you get the first one. It's probably one of the best tower defense games until Field Runners 2 came out and took that throne from Field Runners. So do check that one out, and if you already have it, update it or reinstall it, and you can play with some nice Retina HD graphics, which is nice. And Plants vs. Zombies got an update as well. It had been announced that Plants vs. Zombies 2 is coming to iOS. We talked about that last episode, I believe. Well, the first game, the only game that's out, got an update. It added a new survival mode, and it added a bunch more levels. So it looks like they keep patching more stuff into Plants vs. Zombies, which is good. I'm super happy that they're doing that, but it seems kind of odd. Oh, your video just cut out for a sec, Jared.
I did it on purpose.
Oh, you did it on purpose? Okay. We were on both cameras, so I didn't see that. So yeah, it's kind of awesome to see a game like that keep getting updated. So check those ones out. And also up and new, I said VS Racing came out 99 cents. So I talked about that one earlier. So check that one out. An interesting game came out, and I know Jared and I are going to have a little bit of a conversation about this one. Avengers Initiative came out. It's $6.99, and it's the first episode in what's going to be an episodic title release all around the Avengers. So we had talked about this one a while ago. I think we talked about it on the show. It might have been on the bonus stage where there's a bunch of teasers that came out. So it basically got released, and what Avengers Initiative is right now is Infinity Blade. It's exactly like Infinity Blade. In fact, there's even some of the same things on the screen, like the pauses in the same area, the controls are the same, except you play Hulk and you're beating up Skrulls and bosses like Wendigo and some other bosses that I don't really recognize. So for $7, you're essentially getting Infinity Blade reskinned as Marvel, which is kind of awesome. I kind of like that idea. But what this game is going to do, excuse me, is for the $7 that you pay, they're going to keep patching more content into it. They've already promised that 3 other chapters will be coming. That will be Iron Man, that will be Captain America, and who's the last one? Thor will be coming. We don't know what those games are, if they're just going to be patched into Infinity Blade and you'll be going through the game again as Iron Man and shooting like lasers out of your chest and repulsors out of your hand, or if they're going to change the game. But essentially they said that they're going to keep releasing content for it. It uses the new, I think it's called Marvel X, which is kind of like this online site, which isn't really active right now, but when the Facebook game comes out, you're going to be able to kind of link your accounts between multiple games. So this one and the other one, and you'll be also basically be able to unlock things in one and the other and stuff like that. So it sounds like it's a huge push to bringing Marvel into like the iOS and more social kind of gaming devices. So really interesting. I don't know, Jared, what do you think of this title?
I don't think I'm actually going to pick it up, just because I feel like it is a little bit of a reskin of Infinity Blade, and yeah, I don't really need to play that right now. Mm-hmm. But it's something I definitely want to watch, and as the new ones come out, I may or may not be influenced to pick it up. So that's kind of the way I saw it.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way, to be honest with you. I haven't picked it up, which is weird, because if anything Marvel comes out, I would be the first one to pick it up. Even if it was like a Game Loft game, which was obviously reskinned from another game, I would pick it up. This one left me kind of scratching my head. I'm actually scratching my head right now, but for different reasons. Yeah, I don't know. I really kind of want to play it. From what I understand, it's kind of short. So you basically get from the start of the level, you beat a boss, you go into the next level, you beat a boss, and then there's a grandmaster boss where you're actually going to have to replay the game a few times to level up enough to be able to beat this guy. So you might play for 4 or 5 hours is what I'm understanding. And then apparently that's going to be patched in with other characters. So I don't know. I'm really on the fence here. I'm probably going to pick it up just to see what it is. But yeah, it's a really odd release from Marvel, and I really kind of like it. I don't know if I'm going to play it, but I really kind of like the idea. And I guess I'm kind of like you, Jared. I really want to know what else this Marvel X, I think that's what it's called, the online service, and what everything else that's going to that is going to come out is going to be. Because, yeah, I don't know. It looks kind of interesting. Anyway, that's Avengers Initiative. Hopefully we will be able to talk about that one in future episodes. Also coming out today was the much anticipated Unreal Engine powered game from Gameloft called Wild Blood. They had teased it for a while, and it's finally out. It's $7, and it's essentially I guess it's kind of like an action RPG without very many RPG elements. You're basically running through a level, beating things up with your sword and getting the gold that spew forth from their bodies, and then buying stuff with it. So pretty common gamey things. It's with the Unreal Engine, so it looks really nice. The only thing that looks kind of weird to me is the worlds are kind of small. So it's you're basically swiping to attack and things like that, or you're hitting buttons to attack and swiping to move around with the little virtual D-pad. And you're in this big, expansive world, but it seems really odd that when you get into this world, it kind of walls off the different areas that you can go. So it's an expansive world, but then you're in these little arenas to battle all these enemies. So I don't know. I haven't picked.
So we originally said it looks like God of War. Do you think it still looks like God of War?
Yeah, I think it really does kind of look like God of War. To be honest, it really does. It looks like God of War mixed with, like it basically it revolves around the Knights of the Round Table type thing. So you're Arthur, I believe, and you're Sir Lancelot, and you're trying to kill Arthur, or it's vice versa. So it's like it's like kind of like, I don't know, God of War, but with swords. It has an upgrade mechanism where you can upgrade your armor and your sword, but you're not really upgrading them. You're just buying new skins to make them look different. It doesn't actually do any different type of attacks or anything. So it's this really weird blend of things. It's $7. It's $6.99, like I said, but it doesn't have. It's a Gameloft game, but it doesn't have its own like in-app purchase currency. Like there's no premium currency in this game. So it's like this weird mix of nothing that Gameloft has ever done before, but kind of stuff that they've done before. I don't know. It's really interesting, and I haven't bought it, which is, I think, the first Gameloft game that's come out that I haven't bought on day one. The game just kind of puzzled me. So that's 2 games. That's like $14 worth of games, which I normally would own on day one, which I stayed away. So I'm kind of sticking to my guns here, Jared. It's kind of weird for me that they're not on my iPad right now. I think I might download them now that I'm talking about them, but I haven't picked them up before now.
Don't do it. You can resist.
All right, so that's Wild Blood. So we'll see. Maybe I'll get to that in the next couple weeks. Another game came out that is like Pokemon. So if you like Pokemon, if you played it on the Game Boy, the DS, you pick up a game called Little Masters. It's free with in-app purchases for currency and other things. You said you were going to pick this one up, Jared. Have you played it?
I have not.
Okay.
I did pick it up. I have not yet played it. The one other thing that it just to notice about it, you have to have internet connection. And where I run an iPod Touch, I don't have an internet connection all the time unless I'm at home or something. So I haven't had time to play since when it came out last night.
Yeah. See, I downloaded it today. It wasn't released at like 10 p.m. like all the other games. It didn't come out till like 2 a.m. my time or something. Like they pushed the release a little bit. So I didn't get to download it yesterday, which is when I had like a big block of time to play. And then I was insane at work, didn't get a chance to even think about playing it on my lunch hour or when I got home. So I'm going to dig into that one a little bit because I do really like Pokemon. And it would be nice to play a Pokemon styled game on the iPhone. It looks exactly like Pokemon, all the way down to like the windows look the same and the graphics look the same. So I'm probably going to really like it, but I haven't played it yet. So maybe we'll chat about this one in the next episode. What do you think?
I'm sure we'll chat about it here in the next couple episodes.
All right, and the last one, Drake Rider, came out of nowhere. It is free for the, I guess, the prologue kind of episode in here, and it is, it's a Square Enix freemium title that is going to end up costing you like $4,000 when you buy everything that's in it. So, I don't know, Jared, what do you think about Square lately? They've been doing some really weird things.
So here's the thing. Square Enix has been going crazy. I mean, they haven't released anything for months. And then here in the last, I think, 3 weeks, they've released 3 games.
Yeah, exactly.
So first they released The World Ends with You,
Yep.
which was a great game on the DS.
And I have it on the shelf over here, and I could just pick it up and put it in my DS and play it. Or I can buy it for, what was it, 19.99? Is that what it was? Or
It's $18 on your iPod,
That's
not
right.
universal.
Yeah.
$20 if you want it on iPad.
Yeah, it's I don't know. The whole non-universal thing is BS to begin with, but it's like, well, we did so much more work on this port to get it on the iPad, so we're going to charge you $2 more. Like, it's just so weird. But anyway, that's the least weird of things that Square's been doing lately.
So then they brought out Final Fantasy. What was the final name? Final Fantasy Dimensions. Is that right?
Yes, I think that's right.
So Final Fantasy Dimensions, which was a port of a game that they brought out for dumb phones.
Yeah, it was
Java phones.
Yeah, was it called Final Fantasy Legends in Japan, and it's something else here, Dimensions here. I think that's what it was. It came out in Japan as a series of kind of episodic games, which is weird because we hadn't really been playing episodic games at this time. And it came out on old, like, dumb Java, like, feature phones. Like, nothing, it wasn't a smartphone game. So it came out on Java phones, and I can remember being, like, so jealous of all the Nokia and Sony Ericsson phones that had all these, like, really awesome games that will never come here. But when it came out as, I believe, nine chapters, I believe, and each one was a separate purchase. So what they've done with this one is you get the I guess the prologue free. You can download it for free and play it, and it gets you about 5 hours of play. And then what they've done is they've divvied up, like, the other 8 episodes or whatever into 3 chunks that you can buy, or one master chunk that you can buy all at once. Which is, if you buy everything all at once, you unlock the whole game. It's $28.99. That's right? I'm not. It's not $2.99. It's, there's like an extra 8 in there before the decimal. That sounds really weird to say that, but that's right, isn't it, Jared?
Yeah, it's right. And
of course it is.
It's just,
but
I mean,
so
what
insane.
they're trying to do is, I respect what they're trying to do, because they're trying to say, these games are worth more. However, I think that they're overvaluing their games a little, especially where a lot of these games are ports of things that came out a long time ago. It seems like they should start to reduce that price a little bit.
Well,
if you want to go get The World Ends with You, a used copy for your DS now, you can get it for much cheaper than $18. I guarantee.
I saw them used copies for sale for $12 at one of the local game shops. So they're not like a short print game. It's not like you're going and buying like Chrono Cross or anything like that. It's a game that was mass produced on the DS, and an updated version which just has, like, I guess some redrawn graphics, is more than buying a copy that you can find in stores now. Which, I don't know. I like Square. I love Square Enix. I love their games. I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan. I played all the Square RPGs in the 16-bit era, moving up to the PlayStation and PS2. I don't have a problem paying big money for games. Like, I buy so many games. Like, my wife could talk about all the money I spend on games and how crazy she gets when I do it. And I have no problem going and buying a game for $60, playing it for 4 hours and deciding I don't like it. And as long as I spend a little bit of time, that's fine. But it just seems like Square Enix is not developing stuff for the platform that they're developing it on. Like even Epic, who makes Gears of War, which is a $60 game, they came out with a game for the iPad and said, we can't charge $30 for this, so we're going to charge like $2.99 or whatever Infinity Blade was when it first came out. I think it was something like that, or $4.99, whatever it was. They're like, we're going to make a game that's suitable for the platform, but we're also going to price it accordingly. And Square Enix has a long line of games. Like, they have the Final Fantasy Infinity or whatever that was, all the other like crazy like $17 games that came out, and they had like Final Fantasy 1, the redone version, like the port of the PSP version, which was like $12.99 or something. So they've always been kind of overcharging, and I guess enough people are buying it because they keep releasing games at that price. But it just kind of makes me scratch my head wondering, wouldn't they make more money if they charged $4 for this and sold like 100,000 copies instead of selling like 2,000 copies at $20? Like, it just seems really odd for them to do it that way.
Yeah, totally. And I feel a little bit better about it if it's a new IP.
Yeah.
Like the Chaos Rings stuff, that was a new IP at least, right? They
Yeah.
were developing something for it and bringing out something new. I'm a little bit more willing to support that, but it drives me really crazy when it's just these, these ports of games that have been out for 5 years or something like that, or Final Fantasy One. How long ago did that originally come out and they bring it out for $13? That's just
Exactly.
crazy.
It's like a
So
25-year-old game that's been ported and redone and re-envisioned multiple times, and they're still asking that kind of money for it. It's how much money do you need to make from the same game?
yeah, and so this new one actually is new IP, the Drake Rider.
Yeah.
And so I'm actually going to give it a try because it is free for the first chapter. As soon as I can get the space, because it is massive and takes up a ton of space on your thing. It's over a gig.
Yeah.
So I do plan on playing the first one, and we'll see what I think of it, and if I decide to go ahead and buy. But it's just it's crazy, and I hope that at least they decide to have some good sales, because I don't think I'll be touching them until they have sales to bring them back into the high price games, as opposed to right now where they're in the are you insane price games.
Exactly. Like I'll say it again. I don't mind spending money on games. Like I'll buy any Gameloft game that they come out for $7. I have no problem with that. That's kind of like the premium price. I'll drop $7 on a game just to see it so I can talk about it on the show. But $30, I mean, I could buy 4 Gameloft games or 1 Square Enix game. Like it just the value proposition is a little bit skewed. So I don't know. Drake Rider looks really interesting. I'm gonna play the prologue as well. I'm gonna play the prologue of Final Fantasy Dimensions or whatever it's called, because I downloaded it and it is huge. But I'll check it out and see what it's all about. But I don't know. I want to see what kind of numbers they're getting on these games. Like I wish they would release sales numbers. I want to see if there's 10,000 people that are crazy and spending $30 on it. That's obviously why they're doing it. But if they're only getting a few thousand downloads, if they drop the price like drop it to 10% of what the original price was, and you'll get so many more people buying it because it's a Square game. It has geek cachet. People love Square Enix. Like they know Final Fantasy, and they could just sell so many more if they drop the price. It seems like you're shooting yourself in the foot from a marketing standpoint. It just seems really kind of odd to me.
Yeah, and if you look at, I just checked and I don't see them on any of the like top 50 top grossing apps. So it's not like they're not cleaning up anymore.
No.
It seems like a couple of the other ones they were able to clean up and still break those top 50s, but
I think
I still am not seeing them.
I think when you get into like the top 50 or the top 10, you're making like $20,000 a day to keep your place there, or maybe even less depending on what the release is that week. So they're not even making like tens of thousands of dollars most likely if they're not in the top 50 list or the top 10 list. So yeah, drop the price, Square. Maybe you'll get some people buying your game, because I want to play it, but I just can't sacrifice like 4 other games to play this one game. It just seems.
Yeah, I'm scrolling. I'm not even seeing them in the top 100.
Yeah.
On any of these 3 that are like super new. Oh, there it is. 151 Final Fantasy Dimensions.
So they're probably making hundreds of dollars a day instead of thousands. So that's kind of weird. One thing I forgot to mention about Avengers Initiative, if you need space on your device, it's a gig, and that's only 1/4 of the total game that you're going to be getting for this. So this game could be huge in the future. I wanted to mention it, but I forgot to make a note of it. So I know a lot of people are really kind of the space is a premium on their device because of all these really great games coming out that are a gig. So yeah, maybe Avengers will be like 4 gigs when it finally comes out, or maybe the whole game is actually in the initial download and they're just going to unlock it like digitally to give you like kind of a slow release of that.
So I think it can actually be over 2 gig.
Yeah, I believe it can. Yeah.
I don't think it can.
Are you
I
sure?
think that there's a limit that a installed game can't take up more than 2 gig.
I don't know of any file system limit, so maybe it's just like an app store limit.
Yeah, so I think it's an app store thing that you can't have anything over 2 gig, but don't quote me on that. So I might have to go look that up and see.
Crazy. So anyway, so that about does it for notable releases. It kind of took the whole, I don't know, half-hour segment of our show today, but there was a lot of really interesting things coming out, so don't hate us too much. But let's get into the news, Jared. It's official. Apple's going to be announcing a new phone next week.
Yeah, it's been leaked forever that September 12th and everyone was not surprised when they dropped it. It was September 12th. So yeah, anything particular that you're really hoping to see in the new iPhone?
A bigger screen, thinner, more icons on your home screen. What else? I'm trying to think of other things that are obviously in it because we've pretty much seen the whole device assembled from all the leaked parts that have come from China. Yeah, I don't know. I really just want iOS 6. I don't really care about the new phone right now. I'll buy whatever they come out with. I just want all the features that iOS 6 are going to give us.
Yeah, so NFC maybe seems like that one people are going back and forth on. Can't
Yeah,
decide if it
people
has
thought
it or
that they
not.
yeah, people thought there was a mysterious chip somewhere on the device, and it's been since kind of explained away to being something about the microphone or the speaker on the top of the device. So it's probably not NFC. I'd like to see NFC. That would be kind of cool, but I don't think that's going to be there. I think this event is pretty much just going to be, here's a new iPhone. iPhone 4S is going to be the $99 phone, and the iPhone 4 you'll be able to get for free on contract with all these other things, just like what the 3GS is right now. And I think
So what I've been kind of sad about is with all the leaked rumors, I haven't seen any leaks about the new iPod Touch. So
yeah,
I'm wondering if they're giving up on the iPod Touch or what,
no,
because that's kind of been what
yeah.
I'd use.
I don't think so. They might mention it at this event. They've done it in past, like 2 years ago. I think they announced them both at the same time. Last year, I think it was only the iPhone 4S and iOS 5 that were talked about at the same event, I believe, if I remember correctly. So
Yeah, they ended up not releasing a new iPod Touch last year.
yeah, that's what it was. So basically, what I can see happening is the event next week, it's next Wednesday, is going to be talking about the iPhone 5 or the new iPhone, whatever they're going to call it, and they're going to talk a lot about iOS 6, and that's going to be that event. So it's going to be about an hour and a half, whatever they normally do, but it's only going to really talk about the one new device, and it's going to ship in about 7 days or whatever after that event. And then I guess 9 days, because it's probably going to ship the following Friday. That's usually what they do. Not that Friday, the Friday a week after. And then I can see them doing another event in like a month's time, maybe into maybe the end of September, but probably into October, where they talk about the new iPad mini, because that's been pretty much leaked. We know what all the devices look like. We know all the parts and all that stuff. The iPad mini and the iPod touches will all be done at that event, because they're really, they need a refresh. Like, I don't know if iOS 6 will even run properly on any of the iPod touches that are out there. So they really got to refresh it and come up with a new device. But I think that'll be at a different event. I don't see Apple doing it next week, but who knows? Apple's kind of mysterious and hard to predict, so you never know.
Yeah, I need a new device, but I won't do an iPhone because I don't want to pay the contract. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But
We'll know more by next time we do a ToG. We'll know all about what Apple's going to be releasing.
so let's not bother speculating anymore, and we'll figure it out next week.
Let's speculate for like the next 2 hours. Come on, Jared, we can do it.
Okay. Next piece of news that we have here.
It is kind of cool. Are you a fan of Rayman? Rayman Legends, all that fun stuff?
It seems like Rayman was really good and then was really crappy for a while.
And now it's actually really cool again. Now that they've gotten to the Rayman Legends stuff, though, all the hand drawn, cell animated stuff looks just amazing. Rayman Ubisoft just announced that they're coming out with a Rayman game for iOS and Android. It's going to be called Rayman Jungle Run. So you guessed it, it's going to be an endless runner, but it's a side-scrolling endless runner, and you play Rayman and all of his friends, and you run and jump and do all that fun stuff because it's going to be a platformer as well. So it looks really cool, and it looks like it's using the same hand-drawn style as like Rayman Legends and the newer stuff that just came out this generation. So I'm looking forward to this one, although I'm really sick of endless runners, so I don't know if I'm really going to like it, but I'm kind of looking forward to at least seeing some more from this because I really do love the style of animation that I've been using for the later Rayman titles. So yeah, this will be out. I think they said it's going to be out right at the end of September, or like the 20th, I believe, is what the date is. It's somewhere in the story, but I can't bring it up right now. So
September 20th.
Is that what it is? Okay. So yeah, a couple weeks from now, you'll be able to play Rayman on your iOS device, and we'll definitely be talking about that one because I'll be picking that one up for sure. So yeah, some great games coming out. There's been some really like AAA kind of like game franchises that have been like talked about or released lately. It really seems like when you're a game developer and you're thinking of a new IP, you're like, okay, I'll make a PS3, I'll make a 360, and yeah, we'll have to do some sort of iOS title that may be just like a watered down version of our console title. But it seems like it's like one of the big four now. So there's the Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, and iOS being like the fourth platform. It's interesting. I love it because I love this platform.
Yeah, it seems there's like right now, the fact is we're early in September, and this is usually the big release season, right? In September, October, November. So
yeah,
just buckle up because there's probably going to be a lot of good stuff coming out.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's an awesome time to be an iOS gamer. There's so much awesome stuff coming out every week. Like we can't even keep up with all the great games, which is I guess that's a great thing to have, but it's also kind of bad because you see all these games come out, you just don't have the space or don't have the time to play them. So now we'll see what happens.
Yep.
All right, moving on. Let's get into the reviews. We're going to be reviewing 4 games this episode. That's a lot. But I'll start it off with a great game called Bastion. So this one was kind of a surprise release. It was just basically, it wasn't really talked about, and it just came out. And it's $5, and it is awesome. Bastion...
Hey, they told us the day before it was coming out.
That's true. They did give us a little bit of a heads up. I misspoke.
They gave you 24 hours to prepare yourself.
Thanks for keeping me honest there, Jared. I was totally wrong about that. But yeah, so Bastion. Bastion is I'm trying to find it on my device. I can't even find it to start it up. That's really odd. Did I delete it by accident? Oh no, there it is. It was on a different page than I remember. So Bastion originally came out on the PC, and then it was ported to Xbox Live, I believe. Is that right? Do you remember?
It was on Xbox Live and then came out on
Steam.
PC right after.
So, and basically what Bastion is it's this game that revolves around a character that you only know as the Kid. And basically the game takes place in this world that is kind of destroyed, and the world kind of builds as you walk in it. So you walk on a platform and these little things slide up. So pretty interesting. When this game first came out on Xbox Live, I really wanted it, but it was $15 and I wasn't really playing my Xbox too much when it first came out. And then it came out on Steam and I did buy it, and then I haven't played it. So I actually own it on Steam and I never played it. But now I own it on the iOS, and it's $5, and I love it. So the game revolves around you. You're the kid, and you wake up on a platform. And when you wake up in the game, it's actually narrated. It's the most. If you don't know that this game is narrated before you play it, it would freak you out. But basically, the big thing of the game, the thing that was so exciting about it, for a lot of people out there, was the fact that there's this narrator in the background kind of narrating everything that you do in the game. And you then find out that the character that narrates it is called the stranger. So you don't really even know the name of any of the characters in the game. So when you first get into the game, you wake up and the narrator says, and he wakes up. And then you get up and you move to the side of a thing. He's like, and he moves and he goes through the door. And it's just pretty much everything that you do in the game has this like really awesome kind of Western feeling narration that's happening in it. To the point where if you like repeatedly die, he'll say like, and he apparently hasn't learned that walking off the edge is gonna have him have a huge headache, like something like that, just because you keep repeatedly doing that over and over and over again. Really awesome. But the game basically, the story is you wake up, the world is basically ended, it's broken, and you have to figure out what you can do to repair it. And you basically move, you go to what is called the Bastion, and you're told by the stranger that you have to find these crystals. You find the crystals, you rebuild the city, and that is pretty much the game. But the building of the city is awesome. The story is really where this game just kind of dug its hooks into me. I guess overall the game is, I'd say, probably about 8 to 10 hours if you do everything. So it's a meaty experience. And as you're going through it, you when you repair the Bastion by finding these crystals, you're actually you're basically building these buildings. So you build a building that is the armory, so you can unlock other weapons. You build one that allows you to upgrade the forge. You can upgrade your weapons. You build one that allows you to pray to shrines to make the game harder and give you more rewards. So you're doing stuff in the world to make the world look better, but it also gives you some features and it unlocks things you can do. There's a bunch of unlockable weapons and things like that. So anyway, I'm not going to really give away too much more about the story because it's really something you have to experience yourself. It's $5 and it's worth like 10 times. Like if this was like Square Enix priced, I would actually buy it and recommend it to everybody. I've recommended to probably about 6 or 7 guys at work who had never heard of the original, and they picked it up the same night that I told them to, and I got so many text messages that night. It was amazing. Like everybody was just blown away by the narration. When you beat the game, you can actually restart in New Game Plus mode, so you can actually play through the game a second time and kind of try things out a little bit different in the story, and also get the rest of the achievements and things like that. I've probably put about 15 hours in this game, and I'm about ready to erase my save and start over because I really enjoyed it. So that's Bastion. $5, 5 out of 5. Get it now. It is probably. I would go so far to say that this is the best title on the iPad right now. And that's, I guess, a little bit disingenuous because it came out on other platforms first and was ported to the iOS. Usually when that happens, things are kind of janky and don't work. The control scheme that they figured out for this game is perfect. They've had to change some things because on the 360, it's of course widescreen. They had to change it so it looks good on kind of the 4:3 screen of the iPad. It's only an iPad game, by the way. It doesn't run on the iPhone. I didn't mention that at the start. But what they've done is they've done awesome. They did really good. So I don't know. Go get it now. Like pause this podcast, go download it, and then start it back up. It is worth every penny of the $4.99 that you're going to be spending on this game. So Bastion, if only to hear the narration, because it just blew me away, like all the things you do in the game, and they recorded hours of sounds and dialogue just so it looks so it's fluid, and when you do something stupid, they have like a little quip to kind of I don't know, just throw a little bit of humor into the game. So anyway, I could talk about this game for an hour, but I won't. So Bastion, $4.99, 5 out of 5. Go get it now. It is really good.
So I paid $15 for it on Steam, and I don't regret a minute paying $15 for it last year and playing it. It is so good, and it was one of my best games of the year last year. Yeah. And it's one of the few games that I can say like emotionally affected me. Like, not to give anything away, but at the end, like, there is some serious like emotion. Does it?
Yeah.
Do you agree with it? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you actually end up kind of caring for the characters, and some of the stuff that happens, you're just like, what? Okay. And you're kind of powerless to stop some things. And yeah, it definitely has a lot of emotion kind of wrapped up into it. You have
to make decisions that are very impactful, and it's so good. So good.
And I think what really helps it is the narration kind of gets you it gets you loving these characters. Like the voice, like if that guy could narrate my life, I would pay him all sorts of money to walk behind me and just narrate everything that I do, because that would just be so awesome. But anyway, Bastion, go get it. It is so good. So Jared,
the kid takes his rage out on some barrels.
Yeah, exactly. Like just little things like that. It's just like, this is the coolest thing ever. Like I was just like ear to ear smile for like the first hour that I played the game, and then my wife had to leave the room because I looked kind of strange, so she moved somewhere else. And then I played I played hours more. It's such a good game.
Yeah.
All right, Jared, what do you have?
I'm going to review a game called Blastaway, and full disclosure here, I did receive a promo code for this. So developers, if you're ever interested in us reviewing your game, promo codes help to make that happen. So this game is by Illusion Labs. Illusion Labs have put together, well, they had a while back, early in the App Store, they had one of my favorite games ever, and that was Sway. But they've also done a lot of other things. They did, what was it, Touch Grind, right? The one where you're running around.
Yep.
And they kind of, they usually will bring out their games at about $5, and they never really go on sale. They also did Labyrinth, the really good marble roller, and then they also did Touch Grind BMX. Um, but anyway, so this one is Blast Away, and it's kind of hard to describe this game. Basically, you control these little robots, and you're trying to collect the little boxies, which are kind of look like little versions of your robots that are super cute. And it kind of, the art style reminds me a lot of maybe like a Little Big Planet. So it's kind of fun because you're doing these and they have different worlds. You know, one's has the theme of stone and another has this theme of fabric, and another has wood. You know, and basically what you do is they're kind of physics puzzles, but they also have a lot of other elements going to them. So your little guy, on most levels you'll just have one, but on later levels you can have two or sometimes even three guys that you're controlling, and you just draw lines for them to move, and then you throw bombs at whatever you need to throw at. The bomb has to match the color of what you're trying to blow up, or else it won't blow up. And there's several different types of bombs. So you have like the sticky bomb that will stick and is really good for hitting the high up ones. There's the impact bomb that explodes as soon as it's hit something, as well as there's a rebuilder, which you throw at stuff after you've blown it up to repair it. And then there is a teleporter, so that if you can move across from like one platform to another, as long as it matches the color of the teleporter. So it's really, really cool because you have all these different things going on that just allow you to really it makes the game a real head scratcher, but at the same time, I've never gotten so frustrated with the level that I've just kind of given up. It's really, really good. There's, different color mechanisms where maybe you have to throw it through, or maybe you have to bounce it off something in order to make it hit where you want. It's just really, really polished, and it's a lot of fun trying to figure out how to get every last boxy. And yeah, that's pretty much what the game is. There's lots of different levels. The challenges, like I said, it's been really varied, and I really like this game. So this is a really good week because we're going to review two games that are both going to get 5s out of 5s, and for $10 you can either get 1/3 of Final Fantasy or you can get two incredibly great games that will probably last you just as long, between Blast Away and Bastion. So yeah, it's going to get a 5 out of 5 from me. It's a lot of fun as you go and try and figure out each new level. And yeah, the art style, like I said, is one of the coolest things on it. Have you looked at the art style at all?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I don't know if it really kept me away from this game, but it just made me kind of sit there and kind of puzzle for a little bit about what the game would really be about.
Yeah, so it's kind of a physics puzzler. There's some portals in it, so there's some portal elements where you throw your bomb in one place and it comes out another part, and then there's some elements where you're trying to figure out where to blow up, and then sometimes you have to like blow up an area so one guy can get through, and then you have to rebuild that area with another one, and it's really, really good. A good puzzler, and there's a lot of content here. There's a total of 80 levels, which is they take you a while. The first couple levels are pretty quick, but then the later levels are 3, 4, 5 minute levels. So overall you're getting a really good value, and it is $5, so it is a little bit more premium, and you can kind of hope for a sale. But if Illusion Labs does what they usually do, it probably won't go on sale. But even at $5, I would say that this is a good recommendation. So again, that's Blast Away by Illusion Labs, $4.99 on the App Store, and it gets a 5 out of 5 from me.
Awesome. So a couple really great games. That's good to hear. But yeah, let's move on. I'm gonna review something a little bit different. I'm gonna review a game called Mikey Shorts. It's 99 cents on the App Store, so not super expensive. And you know how everybody is trying to find the best platformer on iOS, and there's been a lot of games that have come really close. What was the name of that secret agent one? Oh, I can't think of the name. Where you're fighting like evil scientists or whatever. Oh, it drives me crazy.
League of Evil?
Yes, League of Evil. So everybody said League of Evil was kind of like the best platformer on iOS, which I kind of agree with. Coupon in the chat room just jumped on it, so everybody knows the name except me. I feel stupid right now. But everybody said it was the best until I played this game called Mikey Shorts. So you basically play this little guy, and you're running around these levels, and basically the world has kind of ended, sort of, I guess, and everybody in the world is turned into statues. And so how you beat the levels is you touch the statues to turn them into real human beings, and you have to touch a certain number of statues in each section of each level to open the gates and allow you to get through them. So basically that's it. That's the game. You're going through these levels, you're collecting coins, you're making people turn from stone to human, and you're trying to beat the clock as you get to the end of each level. So the game is kind of divided into worlds. Each world has 4 levels, and there's 6 worlds. And in each of the levels, there's 3 main things you can do to get, I guess, is it 3 or 4? No, I guess it's 3. That's right. You get up to 3 stars in each level, and you do that by coming in under a certain time period. So getting from the start to the end in a certain amount of time gets you either 1, 2, or 3 stars. There's another achievement or another kind of thing that you do in each level. If you get every single coin, it doesn't matter how long it takes you to do it, but if you get every single coin, you get a gold coin for that level. And then hidden in each level, some of them are really easy to find. Some of them are really kind of difficult. There's a pair of golden underpants or golden shorts. I don't know what they are, but they look like golden underpants, and they're hidden in every level. And so you have to get those 3 things in each world to fully unlock the game. So after you get a certain number of stars, you unlock kind of a survival mode, and then you can get more stars. The survival mode basically has you have a set amount of time to get from the start to the finish of each level, and that's it. The coins that you get just give you bonuses. In this game, the coins are used to buy what they call disguises. So you can get either hats, different face things. So it could be a beard or a duck bill or something, or other things. and you basically use coins to get them. When you beat a level, you usually get one that gets unlocked for free. And they're tied to your achievements too. So if you unlock an achievement, it unlocks something in the disguises. And there's also achievements for unlocking a certain number of disguises. So the game just keeps you going back and forth in the levels, rushing through, getting 3 stars, getting the gold coins, and all that fun stuff. And this game would be really horrible if the controls were bad. Like, it would just be like you would rip your hair out if the controls were terrible. But these are like the best platforming controls that I've ever used on iOS. There's a left and right and a jump and a slide, and that's it. But it works 100%. So the game, the physics of jumping, everything, like you can pretty much figure out where you're going to go, and you know that if you slide just a little bit over in your fingers, you're going to stop going left and start going right. So some of the levels, like in the later part of the game, get really tricky because you only have a certain amount of time to get to the end to get your 3 stars. But the controls don't really hamper at all. It's as close as I've had to playing kind of like with a D-pad, but without the physical D-pad. Like the virtual controls work 100% compared to any other game. They work so well. So anyway, that's Mikey Shorts. It's not super long, I guess, because there's only a certain number of levels, but to get 5-star or 3 stars in every level, I mean, there's 72 different levels across the different game modes. It's going to take you a while, and if you enjoy the platforming, you're going to want to get every single star. It's going to drive you crazy that you didn't get that 3rd star because for some reason you can't shave 0.2 seconds off of your run through the game. So anyway, that's Mikey Shorts. I'm loving it. I haven't beat everything yet. I'm still going through and getting some of the survival modes and trying to get 3 stars in all the different worlds. But I really dig it. And if you like platformers and you want to play a really good platformer on iOS, which is kind of, I guess that's an oxymoron, a good platformer on iOS, like the controls should fight you for some reason. Whatever they've done in this one, it's worked. I have to give this one a 5 out of 5 as well. It is the best platformer I've played, and for $1, I mean, you're going to get hours and hours worth of enjoyment for $1, 1/32 of what you're going to pay for the Final Fantasy Legends or whatever the heck that's called. And so yeah, you're going to get many hours of gameplay for $1. So definitely check it out. Mikey Shorts, 99 cents on the App Store.
Nice. I'm going to go ahead and throw that on my watch list.
That's funny. We actually have the developers of the game in our chat room, which is really kind of odd. That's great. Anyway, moving along.
Wow.
Jared, your next review is?
Yeah, so funny that you should mention League of Evil because their next game was Random Heroes, and that's the one that I will be reviewing. So Random Heroes has a lot in similar with League of Evil. It has kind of the same blocky art style. But yeah, it's pretty good. It's Random Heroes. It's a lot like League of Evil, except the levels are longer, which is good, I think, for the most part. But it's kind of funny because you're kind of playing along, and then all of a sudden you get to the end of a level and you don't realize that you're on the next level because you go through a door. And I think I went through like 5 levels, and I'm like, holy cow, these levels are so long. And then I realized that I had went through 5 levels because it doesn't actually like stop and do anything. And there's nothing to collect, which I felt kind of bad about. Like I wanted something to actually collect in the game, like there's no stars or ratings or anything like that. Yeah, so to me, that's the 2 things that are missing. It still has the same pretty good platforming. As you collect money, you can buy bigger guns and buy different suits and stuff like that. So you can actually dress up as like Abraham Lincoln, for example, if you decide that you want to jump around as Abraham Lincoln and fire guns and attack baddies like that. So they have all sorts of different ones, Frankenstein, and you get bigger and bigger weapons. And it's a fun little game, but I don't know. It's just, to me, it's not quite on the same level as League of Evil. And it's not quite, well, it sounds like it's obviously not on the level of Mikey Shorts. So it's still 99 cents. So this one you should probably only get if you're done with Mikey Shorts. But I'm still going to give it a 4 out of 5 because it still has pretty good platforming and is still fun. Has some parts that are really difficult. It's a little strange because when you get different suits, sometimes they'll have more life with them, and if you die, you just start right back at the beginning of the level. So, I mean, overall, it works out pretty well. But I just, not my favorite in terms of platforming, but it's pretty good. So yeah, 4 out of 5, 99 cents. Ravenous Games, Random Heroes, and so hardcore people of this genre should get this one too.
I'm going to butt in for a little bit in your review, even though it's your review, but I played this one as well, and I loved League of Evil. It was great, like the Super Meat Boy style of you have to get pixel perfect jumps. And then I got this one, and it's like, oh, there's upgradable weapons and all this stuff. But I don't know, I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy playing the levels over and over again to get more coins, to buy the next weapon, to kill things faster. I don't know what it was about this game, but usually these types of games, like Super Crate Box and all those things, where you have like there's always a sense of progression as you get like further and further into the game. This didn't catch me for some reason. I'm not sure what it is. I still don't mind that I spent $1 on it, obviously. But yeah, I got, I think, the like the 3rd gun or something, just past the Uzi, whatever the next one is, and I'm like, yeah, all right, I played it. There you go.
Yeah, I beat all the levels. it's slightly not quite as good as the other ones, and I think maybe it just needed collectibles. I think that's probably what got it.
Yeah,
Like had I had been able to collect 3 stars or something, that probably would have at least done something. So I wanted to replay the level and actually do that. But where
exactly.
it doesn't mark anything about that. There's no point of trying to play it again
Yeah.
because it's not like I can earn another star or anything. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Each
it's
level,
random heroes.
each level is kind of a throwaway. Like you're running through the level, getting to the end, and then you're on to the next one. It didn't really, I don't know, there wasn't anything special about any of the levels, I guess is what it was. That's probably what did it for me, I guess.
Yeah, so
All
that's
right.
great. We've had a couple people chatting with us in the chat box. So welcome to HVK and Mike G123 and Coupon. So thanks for joining us, and yeah.
All right. Well, that's gonna about do it. We did a longer show than we normally would since we missed last week, but we got you 4 great reviews of a bunch of games. Go buy them all. I mean, like it just makes it more insane the rant that we had about Square Enix, where for $12 you can get like 40 hours of gameplay and through 4 different games. And I mean, I guess that's the reason why I'm not really up to spending $30 on a game, even though I'm not cheap. I can't mentally, I just can't get around. I can't get over that hump, I guess is what it is. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is a bit longer than expected, but definitely thanks for staying subscribed over at vgpodcast.com. Remember, we do this live every Thursday night, except for the weeks that we don't. Yeah. Over at vgpodcast.com/live. We used to record it at 8 p.m. Central, but we're moving that up a half hour because Jared is the way he gets off work and all this other crazy stuff he has to do. It just wasn't working for 8 o'clock. So we're doing it at 8:30 Central every Thursday. So if you want to tune in, like all the people that joined us in the chat room today, definitely do go to vgpodcast.com/live. And just a reminder, we do the bonus stage every Friday night at 10 p.m. Central. And that is, of course, the continuation of a local radio show that we do here, or we used to do here in Winnipeg before the radio station that we did it in shut down, which kind of sucked. So now we're doing it live at vgpodcast.com/live every Friday at 10 p.m. And we talk about everything gaming, everything geek culture, and we definitely want to get more people coming out to check it out. So do that. The bonus stage Friday nights at 10 p.m. Central. So anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in and staying subscribed. Head over to vgpodcast.com/forums to join the forums. A lot of great chats going on there. If you want to email us, it's vgpodcast@gmail.com, or you can call our voicemail line, which is area code 505 VG Podcasts, and let us know what you want us to do on future episodes. Let us know what games you want us to play, and we'll help you out the best that we can. So Jared, thanks for joining me again.
My pleasure is always, Lloyd.
All right, man, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Take it easy, guys. Later.
Bye.